starting to come around. It's going to be good. I really believe that.
Yep. No, I try so hard not to be libbed up, but goddamn, these kinds of pieces make it impossible, dude.
We want to have as many bees as we can to make honey.
At Secret Garden Bees, a honey farm in Linden, North Carolina, farmer Jim Hartman has one eye on his bees and the other on his bank account.
Ideally, we'll get 100 pounds of honey per hive per year.
How do you feel about paying more for things?
Well, you know, if you find someone who says, I'm happy about paying more for something, you point them out to me. People who already couldn't afford fresh vegetables, who couldn't already afford to put good food on their plate, are the ones that are really going to be hurt by this.
Did you ever think when you voted for President Trump that things were going to cost you more and you were going to lose money?
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
Among other things, Jim imports packaging supplies for...
I'm sorry, hard to not. This hits like, dude. You voted for him thrice, you know? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, can't fool me again. Fool me 3 times, peace sign. Take the chopper out, or whatever he said. Not GW, I'm talking J. Cole. You said I'm white for not knowing a J. Cole lyric? Knowing the J. Cole lyric is a infinitely whiter trait than not knowing it.
For his honey, so he's paying real close attention to the tariffs Trump just put in place.
We just bought our year's supply of bottles from Taiwan and our year's supply of corks from Portugal about 3 weeks ago. So that would have been, you know, another $5,000 or $6,000 out of my pocket.
Which is partly why he's repairing instead of replacing this 40-year-old forklift.
The cost of equipment has just gone through the roof to buy anything like that because it just would be cost prohibitive.
He's also holding off on improvements around the farm.
Well, we're not going to hire any more people, that's for sure.
It's more than just the tariffs. For the past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, you know, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
Not far from Jim's farm.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Dude. Oh, come on. This hits good. This hits good. After all the awful, after all the awful we just watched, like, this kind of hits like, you know what I mean? God damn. I've yet to meet a man more deserving of this. I just wish there was a way to make only this happen. You know what I mean? For every dollar out of the $150,000 that guy loses, though, there's like a million other people that are over way worse. There is something hilarious about being a guy who relies on federal government subsidies, voting 3 times for a dude who goes, I'm going to take away the subsidies. No more government handouts. It's like your uncle living in West Virginia who's getting disability payments being like, I hate these welfare queens. Like, it's like, dude, you are the welfare queen. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you voted for Trump. He's gonna take your disability away. You're gonna die. You might as well get back on fentanyl now because you're hooked, big dog. Might as well get right on that straight from the street because you're gonna die anyway because you voted for a guy who wants to kill you. What are we doing? You're not part of the team, little bro. You're not. What made you think you were a part of the team? Oh, because he's gonna do this to brown people? No, he the poor, dumbass, and you are one.
Found other Trump supporters who give the president high marks on tariffs.
How do you feel about the tariffs?
Well, I feel like for years we've been getting ripped off, and why not make it fair? You know, 0-0. And I think Trump was upfront about it. He said we're going to hurt some now,
I think some of the countries they're already starting to come around. It's going to be good. I really believe that.
Yep.
No. I try so hard not to be libbed up and be like one of those people that's like, well, you're suffering and you kind of deserve it. But goddamn, these kinds of pieces make it impossible, dude. It's just, I want this analysis almost exclusively from Asmongold chatters. Like, I want some journalists to go up to Asmongold chatters and be like, so what do you think right now? It seems that the hentai that you consume is now either A, illegal in the state of Texas, or B, tariffed out the wazoo. How do you feel? He's like, oh, well, you know, one day it's going to be all right because America's going to be good, I think. Yeah, boist.
You have faith in Trump?
Yes, I do.
I think he's doing the right thing. In order for us to get back where we need to be, he needs to get the money somewhere, and they're charging us. Why not charge them?
Back at Jim's farm, though, still plenty of work.
What are you saying, bro? What? You've been alive for so many years. You haven't even been accidentally. You accidentally haven't even like encountered the truth. How does this possible? These people are so easy to dupe, man. None of them know how tariffs work. None of them care to understand it. None of them care to understand the impact when it starts hitting their wallets. Like, at least the small business owner kind of understands directly who's over, right? At least this business owner understands it, partially because like $150,000 of revenue, which is 50% of his yearly earnings. Well, that's pretty significant. When that goes away directly because the federal government no longer has that program, you're like, okay, well, you me big time. You destroyed my life. But for a lot of these other people, like, they're just going to see prices go up on everything, partially because of the tariffs and partially because of market competition. Other companies, even domestically manufactured companies, are most likely going to increase their prices as well because they can get away with it. That's just how it works. Sorry, sucks to suck. God forbid we have any sort of regulation surrounding that thing. That would be communism. Can't have that. And I don't think they're going to understand who did this to them. They're not going to go, oh, maybe Trump's moves were responsible for my current financial predicaments. They'll just go, yeah, it's because he hasn't killed enough gay people or some shit.
He says raw honey is considered a luxury good, similar to organic vegetables. As prices rise,
I don't know what that's going to do to consumer spending.
Trump paused the majority of the tariffs for 90 days after we'd left Jim's farm. Jim told us by phone, it's flip-flopped so many times you can't take it to the bank. Who knows what it will be next week? Adding, it seems like he's heard the American.
No, it'll just be unlimited xenophobia. Yeah, those guys are probably going to think, it's the Chinese. How dare the Chinese do this to me? I can see that. They'll blame China. God, people are so stupid. I have no, I lose the remaining empathy that I have for these motherfuckers. Read if you can. My uncle in West Virginia died on welfare, had an addiction to opium, was the cause of death. You're not wrong, but true, sucks, but this is the reality as people hits home. Yeah. The thing is, like, even for domestically manufactured goods, the way that global trade is designed, there are so many parts of the domestically manufactured goods that will have their prices increase because every aspect of trade touches different parts of the planet. Like, think about your computer for a second. Every business needs computer parts. Every business needs computers, okay? Just that alone. Think about what that does. Think about where your GPU, like all the different parts of your GPU come from. Think about all the different parts where your CPU, like all the parts, the components that make up your CPU, where that comes from. The minerals necessary that need to be extracted from different parts of the planet, assembled in a manufacturing plant in most likely China. The chips are made in Taiwan. Like, dude, there is no way to apply universal tariffs at 10% and not assume that even domestic goods are not going to go up in price. Everything will go up in price.
People. Randy Kay, CNN, Linden, North Carolina.
Everything's computer. Everything. I love Tesla. Everything's computer.
On volatility and uncertainty brought on by the trade war that we were just talking about. You know, you've got China announcing it's raising retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods from 84% to 25%. That coming after President Trump hiked the rate of Chinese goods, the rate on Chinese goods coming into America from 104% now to 145%. All of that creating so much uncertainty is having a real and immediate impact on businesses big and small across the country. One small business owner joined us on the show just yesterday describing how the daily chaos and the changes in policy have left her with no good options.
It's hard to make a decision. You know, we had an idea yesterday after the announcement of, well, maybe we can export to Australia, repackage the products, and then re-import them from there. But because policy changes every 36 hours or so, I don't want to make that decision and make that move only for something else to change in just a couple more days. I'm paralyzed. I can't even make a decision.
Yeah, I was surprised when this person said Hasanabi had confirmed and he said yes. I doubt that this person is actually Hasanabi head. Spencer Hakimian, founder of Tulu Capital Management, global macro market neutral, risk optimization, aiming for positive real returns in all climates, not investment advice. I think he's just like, I'd be shocked if this guy is actually in here all the time. I think he just says yes to people responding. He doesn't even follow me.
Decision right now.
Paralyzed. Another big area of concern is what this means for American farmers, of course. China is, among other things, the biggest export market for American soybeans. China bought 52% of American soybean exports last year, throwing American soybean farmers, understandably, into a whole new level of uncertainty right now. And joining me right now is Scott Metzger. He's a soybean farmer out of Ohio, also serves on the board of directors for the American Soybean Association. Scott, thank you very much for...
What do we do? The f do we do? So much winning. We'll never stop winning. I mean, look at him. He's mad. He is big mad.
For waking up and taking time to speak with me this morning. This
smiling through the pain.
Change. I was looking forward to getting your take yesterday afternoon, and now we have this new change overnight coming from China announcing 125% tariff on all U.S. goods coming in.
Yeah, I mean, look, these guys will probably get bailouts, but that's not going to be enough anyway. And you can't bail out the entire economy. What do you do for the consumers, you know?
Includes on soybeans. What does this tariff on this new level of tariff on your produce mean for you?
Good morning, Kate. Yeah, it's an alarming concern. You know, with the tighter farm economy that we're in now, the tariffs are just adding issues to problems that we already have. We want to. It's just making it more complex and making it harder to make decisions on what we need to do.
I've heard the word complex from a couple farmers actually as well. It's already a complicated situation, and now it's becoming even more complex. I mean, you're, I believe, a sixth-generation farmer, farming with your brother and cousins. How does this moment feel for you?
Well, you know, we never have, going back to 2018. We really haven't recovered from the tariff trade wars back then, and you know we were probably 40% higher on soybean prices back then, and the farm economy in general was a lot better back then. So you go forward to now with what we are, and you know, a lot tighter farm economy, and complex, and adding these tariffs to it, it makes things really, really difficult. You know, a fear that we have, if this continues into the fall or even into next year, you know, there's a potential that, you know, there'll be some farms go out of business. You know, you could have a next generation not want to come back or not able to come back just because of the economies or the farm situation in general. And adding these tariffs to this, you know, there's just no room for error. But personally, in our operation in the state of Ohio last year, we were in extreme drought, and we roughly had half of a soybean crop and a corn crop last year. So in our area, it's feeling it even a little bit more. Having less of a commodity sale and these lower prices, and now we're throwing the tariffs on top of it. It just makes things very difficult.
And at the White House, in his cabinet meeting yesterday, the Agriculture Secretary spoke up, talking about, if there's one thing, if people know, a group of people who know uncertainty would be farmers and ranchers. And I'm wondering what your ask, your plea, or just your message would be to the president in the midst of this, given your long experience.
Yeah, except this uncertainty is not born out of like famine or something. You know what I mean? It's born out of the unpredictable president. This is straightforwardly as man-made as it gets. First, the FDA made soy the 9th major allergen, and now this. Bro can't catch a break, Lamau.
And what you guys are facing.
Yeah, we urge the administration to to quickly couple the announcement with some negotiations to address the tariff and non-tariff barriers with the U.S. exports. We want.
Oh my God. An alert from U.S. Customs and Border Protection on Friday notified users of a glitch in the system that is used to exempt freight from tariffs, including shipments from China that were already on the water at the time of this week's whipsaw in tariffs policy, and any trade from nations now under the 90-day pause put in place by the Trump administration. The alert explained that U.S. Customs discovered that the entry code for U.S. shippers to have their freight exempted is not working, and the issue is being reviewed. In the alert, Customs advised filers to transmit cargo release separately and follow up with a summary filing when resolved. Normally, when a U.S. importer pays for their freight, they file both the cargo release forms and their financial papers so they can pay for the cargo. To keep the cargo moving, Customs is advising importers to file the cargo release form now and file the financial form later once the glitch is corrected. For now, that means the tariffs are not being collected by the U.S. government. I don't understand why this is DOGE related, though. I don't know how we were putting the blame on DOGE. Everything's computer. Everything is Tesla. Fix the people who manage the systems. Yeah, you mean fired? Yeah. Wall Street analysts censoring their research to avoid potential retaliation from Trump. This is a big deal. Wall Street analysts self-censoring their research is never a good thing. Wait, what? Did he self-censor? I think it's a bit dramatic. Sean Duffy, Transport Secretary, openly blamed DOGE.
But I want to talk about DOGE for a second.
No, for cuts after multiple fatal aircraft crashes. Yeah, that's transportation. Oh my God, they're all gonna pile on, even if it's not even. DOGE oversees the computer systems of the entire government. I mean, that could very well be a glitch born out of DOGE, either directly as a consequence of the cuts that they made to people that would normally oversee such a thing, or directly born out of the fact that they are supposed to be handling the payment processors and things of that nature. But it will be very funny when people blame DOGE, even when it's not their fault, because everybody just hates Elon. Speaking of everybody hating Elon, I do want to talk about this. Midas Touch posted this, my goats, as you guys know, big time Midas Touch fanboy in perpetuity. I was in the ground floor as a Midas Touch fan, and now they have blossomed into this beautiful franchise. It's going to be a really sad day when I'm in their crosshairs as someone who is a threat to the liberal order. But for the time being, as you guys know, these are the liberals who fight. So I love the boomer, like George W. Bush era liberalism attitude that they've always had. Hasan is a lib confirmed. No, I just have nostalgia for George W. Bush era liberalism. And Midas Touch has carried that torch, including but not limited to stuff like this. You can't make fun of anything anymore. They try to make comedy illegal, make comedy great again. Concerning. See, this like saying anyone and everyone is Adolf Hitler. Like that is the real resistance. That's the last bastion of that is the last bastion of real resistance liberalism. Okay? Like back when liberals would be like stem cell research being cut, not on my watch. George W. Bush is a ape. He's a dumb ape. Here's a hastily photoshopped, shittily drawn photo of George W. Bush looking like a monkey. Like that kind of shit. Anyway, let's take a look at this article. I've been in the same room with Elon, and he always tries to be funny, and he's not funny, like at all, says a senior Trump administration official. He makes these jokes and little asides and smiles and then looks almost hurt if you don't lap up his humor. I keep using the word annoying. A lot of people who have to deal with him do. But the word doesn't do the situation justice. Elon just thinks he's smarter than everyone else in the room and acts like it, even when it's clear he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, so I guess people that are in his immediate vicinity can also see what I'm seeing from afar. That's cool. Musk has gnawed at the patience of an array of high-ranking administration officials to the point that, according to this official and two others, Trump lieutenants have walked out of meetings and earnestly asked one another if they thought Musk was high. The answer is probably. Administration officials joked to one another about subjecting Musk to mandatory drug testing, which Musk himself has said would be a great idea for federal employees. A lawyer for Musk has said he's regularly and randomly drug tested at SpaceX and has never failed a test. Talking to the guy is sometimes like listening to really rusty nails on a chalkboard, says the senior Trump administration official, who adds that Musk is not much of a team player either. He's just the most irritating person I've ever had to deal with, and that is saying something. Trump admin threatening to pull contracts from AWF if Amazon doesn't delist specific books that are critical of his administration. Wait, what? Who are they going to work with? Microsoft? There's not, I'm sure Microsoft will piss him off at some point too. Does he like Bill Gates more than Jeff Bezos? I don't think so. Oh my God. They're going to be like, we're going to pull AWS contracts if you don't ban Hasan. Just kidding. It wouldn't take that much to ban me. Elon is self-aware. His response to Nate Silver's polling tracker. We just launched an Elon Musk popularity tracker to accompany our Trump approval tracker. Currently, he's at least -14 as compared to Trump's -5. The inevitable outcome of having political propaganda war waged against me while I have almost no countervailing campaign and, at times, digging my own grave. Way better than my enemies, though. Shut up. I hate you. I got it. He's so annoying.